Well, let's take a look at the news diary, some of the top stories that we'll be tracking. The countdown to the AUTO Act implementation has begun, with expectations that it will be introduced in June. Now, the Act will introduce a new demerit system, meaning that all traffic fines across the country will now carry the same penal values. And we talked to Transport Department about what to expect. Also, a second leader of a group of foreign nationals living in the Central Methodist Church in Cape Town is due to appear in the local magistrates' court today. The 41-year-old man is facing charges of robbery. Police spokesperson Novella Potelwa says that he was arrested on Friday. So some of the stories that we will be tracking there in the newsroom. Well, moving on to the top trending topics. Hashtag Trump, hashtag Iran, hashtag World War III, hashtag North Korea. These are all related, of course, to the escalating hostilities between Iran and, of course, the United States. And let's just take a look at Donald Trump. And he's trending, obviously, for those hostilities, but also his tweets. And he always does whenever he says something. But these are some of the tweets that POTUS put out. Now, he says, these media posts will serve as notification to the United States Congress that should Iran strike any U.S. person or target, the United States will quickly and fully strike back, and perhaps in a disproportionate manner. And such legal notice is not required, but is given nonetheless. And I think in there is contained, what everybody is fearing, that this is perhaps, the U.S. making it unequivocal that they are ready to enter the fray into an escalation of hostilities with Iran. And of course, this is why people are talking about World War III and the beginning of it at this stage. So one of the other tweets that caught the imagination and had Donald Trump trending, the United States just spent $2 trillion on military equipment. We are the biggest and by far the best in the world. And if Iran attacks an American base or any American, we will be sending some of that brand new, beautiful equipment their way without hesitation. And this is the president of the world's most powerful democracy. And as you can imagine, it's got the whole world in it. And then hashtag Iran. And we saw the funeral service of the commander who was killed, Soleimani. And I don't know if you saw some of the footage that went out about that. What a turnout it was. And it would seem that if anything, this particular attack has united Iranians. And of course, their parliament sitting and coming up with some very interesting resolutions. And they, of course, as you heard in our news bulletin, they've decided to abandon limitations on enriching uranium. And I know some people are saying, well, they never adhere to it anyway, but this is now in the open, like it's no more an issue. And North Korea, in one of our other trending topics, North Korea enters the fray because they are also one of the nuclear powers. And what is said now is that perhaps Donald Trump's lasting legacy will be one whereby he actually was the president to oversee the nuclearization and the escalation of that, of both North Korea and Iran. And not forgetting, of course, last week we saw Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu, perhaps a slip of a tongue, but him talking about nuclear weapons or capability in Israel, from which he very quickly retracted. But this is the problem now, everybody talking about the escalation in that sphere, nuclear proliferation. And this is why World War III is, of course, trending, has been trending since last week and is not abating. And we can only pray. We can only pray that sanity prevails somehow. And one has to concur with those who say, people who've come out and said, those who so badly want these hostilities, who want this war, perhaps they should be the ones who enlist and go and fight this war, because in the end, they are not the ones who suffer. It is the innocent, it is the poor who are usually blown to smithereens. So those are our top trending topics this morning, all about the escalation in hostilities between United States and Iran.